Hello, I'm Will with NYY Eye Test Baseball. This is the channel where we recap and react to hopefully every single Yankees game with the emphasis on the eye test. Today is the 30th of June 2024. Yankees just played game 4 of a 4-game series, just finished the series against the Blue Jays in Toronto. They win today 8-1 and they split the series with the Blue Jays. They take 2, the Blue Jays take 2. And a lot of positive with this one. A really good game today. A ton of positive. Cole's on the mound. The Yankee offense comes alive. We finally shut down the Blue Jays. And I think the team is in good spirits with the off day and then traveling back home. So important games as well. A lot of divisional games coming up. We've got the Rays, we've got the Orioles, we've got the Red Sox, and also the Reds. That's going to be a great test for if the Yankees can stop that running game, because some people have said that's a big weakness of the Yankees, and I think the Reds, who steal the most bases in the league, that's going to be a big test for the Yankees. But let's talk about this one. Let's recap this one first. 8 runs for the Yankees. Cole was on the mound. I'll start off with the offense. I thought, first of all, the approach by the Yankees was excellent because Gausman throws so many of those splitters. And a lot of those splitters are not going to be in the strike zone. A very, very low in-zone percentage with that splitter. A lot of those are going to be chase pitches. He throws that splitter a lot with 2 strikes. The approach is pretty simple, right? Every single team is going to take the approach of we have to attack early, and that's exactly what the Yankees are trying to do, and they did very successfully, trying to put the pressure on the Blue Jays, on Kevin Gausman, right, forcing him to make good pitches and attacking. Anytime he's in the strike zone, we're looking to attack, we're looking to put pressure. That's what some of the teams have been doing really well against the Yankees. And today the Yankees did a really good job. Starting with the first inning, Soto with a terrific at-bat. Against even Volpe, who's struggling with swinging the bat right now. Again, he's looking to attack first pitch. I think Volpe is just a hair bit aggressive, too aggressive right now. And I think that's causing him to chase a little bit. But the overall approach is good still. He's still trying to establish that intent, trying to put pressure on Gausman. And then Soto and Judge doing their thing, right? Soto takes a couple of pitches off the plate, then works himself into a good count, and then rips a single. And then Judge, 1-0 pitch, just hammers it. Perfect timing, lifts the ball in the air, incredible swing. And the Yankees, hallelujah, they finally score first. They finally lead, and that's so important. That over the last few games, over this tough stretch for the Yankees, that's what I really wanted to see. If the Yankees can strike first and they can just settle the pitchers a little bit, instead of the pitchers always pitching, the pitchers always under some pressure, you can just settle down the pitchers with a few runs, and that's exactly what happened today. So important. When you play in front, it's a whole nother ball game. It's so important to play in front. The Yankees have not played in front for such a long time. They've always played catch-up baseball. And that's really hurt them. So today, finally able to play in front. And again, you saw that affect the Blue Jays as well. The Blue Jays have been struggling. Before this series, the Blue Jays as a team has been struggling. And today, you saw some of those struggles. Once that offense loses its rhythm a little bit, the Blue Jays, they struggle. So important. You put the pressure on the Blue Jays, right? You score first, and all of a sudden, the Blue Jays just chase a little bit more. They just give away counts a little bit more. Right, they're trying to do a little bit too much, or just slight things. You're just giving away a few strikes, but then all of a sudden the hitting becomes a lot more laborious. Whereas on the flip side, once you have a good rhythm on offense, you're not looking to chase. It's you focus your approach, right? If a guy's on second base, you're just trying to get that ball over the infield, not trying to look for the perfect pitch. It simplifies the approach, and the rhythm of the offense is just better. That's why it's just so important to play out in front. That's what the Yankees did today. Really good job there. Good approach against Gausman. Tons of pressure applied. Even when we missed some pitches, right? There were pitches to hit. Verdugo missed some pitches. Rice even missed some pitches. Wells missed some pitches against Gausman. But they put up a fight, and they didn't chase that splitter. That was the key also. right? They didn't chase that splitter. I thought Gausman probably could have thrown just a few more splitters in the strike zone to force the hitters to say, well, force the hitters to think, yeah, he can go in the strike zone, so I've got to really cover that bottom plate. Then that's when you start getting that more of that chase. That's what Gausman didn't really do much of. But it's so tough because Gausman, right, with his splitter, I've heard him talk about it. I'm going to grip out and throw as hard as I can. I'm not really trying to throw it for strikes. That's not really his game. But the Yankees did an excellent job putting pressure, forcing him back in the strike zone, and then battling hard. Even when guys weren't squaring up the ball well, they still battled hard. Excellent at-bats all around. A really good stuff there by the Yankees today. With Cole, this start was interesting. What I wanted to see was his fastball going to play. Was it going to have that extra zip? That's so important. With Gerrit Cole, it's all about, does he have that bit of zip in this fastball? We saw a lot of Yankee pitchers the last few days over this tough stretch not have that zip on their fastball. The fastball looks a little bit tired, perhaps. Maybe it's something to do with fatigue or something mechanically. But today, the fastball from Cole was excellent, especially early on, excellent. However, his off-speed was a little bit questionable. The curveball worked today. That's an interesting pitch that he doesn't normally go to. But he didn't really go to a lot of his other off-speed. His cutter and slider were missing for a lot of the day. And when he's only got that fastball, it's a good fastball. Hitters will still have a lot of trouble squaring it up. But it means a lot more foul balls. And this kind of reminds me of how Blake Snell pitches, right? Just constantly pounding up in the strike zone. A lot of his off-speed will be for chase pitches, but a lot of deep counts, right? A lot of foul balls. And that's kind of how it felt early on. However, with Cole, he was able to mix in a few of those off-speed pitches. He started to get a little bit of a better feel of those off-speed pitches as the day progressed. And then he was able to get through 5 innings. So really quality stuff here from Gerrit Cole. Also just setting the tempo for the relievers. The relievers have been hit hard. Just allowing them to settle a little bit. Right, I think that's so important as well. The one question I would have with Gerrit Cole and going forward is that I'm just not a fan of that cutter. Maybe the numbers look good on it, but I remember it was a year ago or 2 years ago that he was trying to experiment with his cutter. His cutter is just so similar to his slider, in that his slider is also hard. It's like a cut slider. He throws it very hard, right? It doesn't move like a sweeping slider. It doesn't have a ton of movement to it, but it's very, very effective because it has the shape of the fastball. Now his cutter's kind of taken over that, and then his slider, so his cutter now seems like, by the look of it, looks like his slider from last year. But then that slider moves slightly differently. And for a lot of the game, that slider wasn't a factor. Against all these right-handed hitters, his slider is one of his best pitches, and not his best pitch. So many strikeouts from it. It's a great pitch, and he didn't have that. I don't know why, for some reason, he's decided to add the cutter. He's got the great changeup. Maybe he's lost, over the break, he lost control of that changeup, and then Matt Blake was like, we need a pitch to get lefties out, so let's use that cutter. But to me, my question is that you throw that cutter, and it kind of bleeds into your slider, and then your slider doesn't quite move the way it's supposed to. And then your cutter, that's similar to your old slider, moves a little bit too fast and isn't slow enough. It's a few miles an hour too much. So I don't know what's going on there. That's going to be something interesting. But he had his fastball today. But that's something going forward that I would pay close attention on. Is that slider back? He needs that slider. It's his best pitch, or at least on par with the fastball. It's a really good pitch, and I would be interested to see how that develops going forward. Also, his changeup. He was able to feature a few more changeups. I remember that he had that long at bat against Horwitz. I was just begging. I was like, throw the changeup. For some reason, he didn't. That's been such a reliable pitch. He didn't throw that much or barely at all in Houston. Didn't really develop it. But with the Yankees, he's kind of developed that changeup. It's a very solid pitch. an effective pitch against lefties, something moving away to the left-hand hitters. A few he threw, I think maybe a couple of them later on in the game, but that would be also interesting if he can get some consistency and get some good feel for that changeup. That's going to be very interesting going forward for Gerrit Cole. But overall, very, very good. Fastball, good life. Again, attacking the strike zone, good mix of just being very aggressive. Really good stuff, and the stuff plays. No, the Blue Jays aren't hitting. The Blue Jays overall throughout the season have not swung the bats very well, but they were hot coming into this game. The last few games they've been pretty hot. Just shutting down a hot lineup like that is so important. Establishing some rhythm, so really good job. And just so good to see the Yankees able to put up only 4 hits for the Blue Jays, and it's been a lot of games of many hits for the opposing team, and a lot of runs for the opposing team. So really good here today by the Yankees. Michael Tonkin I thought was excellent. 26. I'm looking at the numbers here. 26 pitches, 18 strikes, but just so good, so good. Right when he was behind in the count, Guerrero, to be able to throw that sinker and really jam him like that. Tough with his arm angle, always tough. Then he's got a couple of different looks with the slider. He's got the slider that doesn't move laterally so much, or horizontally, should I say. And then he's got that slider, a bit more vertical movement to it. Interesting pitches, and he kind of uses it slightly differently. One to get a strike and one to get good sweeping swing and miss. Also got that four-seamer, able to throw today also to both sides of the plate. Running in on the hitters and then backdooring that fastball as well. Very, very impressive. With a guy that kind of throws from the arm angle that he does, can be very tricky to control the baseball to both sides of the plate. Very impressive from Michael Tonkin. And I don't know if he's got 2.5, I don't know if his stuff is 2.35 ERA good, but it is very solid here from the eye test. It's very solid. Tim Hill, he's still a bit of a question mark. I was glad to see him use that slider against Kiermaier today. I think he needs to use that slider. Even with his arm angle, just four-seam and sinker, guys still put pretty good swings on it. They're not fooled. They take a good approach and they put hard contact. He needs an off-speed pitch just to slow down the velocity, get hitters off that fastball a little bit, and force hitters to slow their bat down. So then that fastball plays a little bit better. Very important. On the hitting side, I looked through the lineup. Volpe struggling a little bit today. Definitely struggling a little bit today. I've been saying he's just a little bit too aggressive. He's trying to go to right field, but a little bit too aggressive at times, trying to kind of force the issue. And I think, again, you want to climb out of a slump, it's just about putting one good at bat. Just one pitch, working every pitch, put yourself in a good position to hit. Put yourself in a good position to succeed and get a good pitch to hit, right? And just slowly start building. You saw some positive signs from Verdugo. He got that down and in slider there. He was able to stay on that pitch, and the next pitch all of a sudden stays really nicely through the middle of the strike zone, up the middle with that fastball. But Kiermaier with an insane play, absolutely insane play to rob Verdugo. But that's a great sign there. And sometimes it can just be that one hit, just, oh yeah, okay, that feels good, and then you settle a little bit. Again, it can be different for everybody to get out of a bit of a funk, but really good there by Verdugo. Torres, very good today as well. He saw Gausman's stuff really, really well. He had that sinking line drive that was caught in the first inning. But good, also good at bats. It was unfortunate not to get a hit there, but really good at bats throughout. Using right field. That's what so many Yankee fans have been saying. That's what I've been saying as well. Using right field, just so important for him. He doesn't actually hit the ball insanely hard, but where he excels and where he can produce his power is to right field in Yankee Stadium. He benefits a ton from that short porch, and if he has that approach, I think that's going to really make him successful. DJ looked a little bit better in that at-bat, where he had a lot of those pitches up and in. Gausman kept throwing him up and in. He was jammed. Then he was able to fight it off, drill it to center field, a beautiful swing. Just he fought for that at bat. He fought and fought and fought. Rice as well. I thought Rice, a couple of those walks, sensational at bat. I felt at times, Gausman didn't have anything to get him out with. He was seeing those pitches low really well, just really picking up the baseball well. Very impressive. And now you're starting to see, he didn't, against the Mets earlier as well, he saw some good swings. He saw the good approach, but he wasn't hitting those extra base hits. And you knew with that approach, you're going to get pitches to drive. And then you're going to put yourself in a position to be able to drive some pitches. And that's exactly what happened today. Beautiful there by Rice. His second extra base hit against high velocity. Very impressive. That's also something that's quite settling as well. You always wonder how prospects will face against high velocity. Can they catch up to high velocity? Can they consistently catch up to high velocity? That remains to be seen, but a really good at-bat there by Rice today. Judge as well, obviously. He's so good. Judge is just ridiculously good. Against Chad Green, picking up that single. He's looking fastball. Good slider by Green out in front, but then he's not beat inside. He can just fight it off inside. He's looking. He just takes the right approach, and then he gets rewarded, even when he's jammed, right? Because he's got that good bat path. Because he's looking to stay up the middle there, trying to not let that fastball get in on him. He gets rewarded. So excellent approach there by Aaron Judge. He's just so good. He's just so good. Juan Soto had that good first at bat, saw some good pitches, but then also I felt a few of his swings he took, he was a little bit, he sort of held his hands a bit gingerly. He kind of swung a little bit gingerly. I wonder if there's anything going on. We hope that there's obviously nothing wrong with him, but because he's so important to that lineup. He lengthens that lineup dramatically. It helps Aaron Judge, helps everyone behind them as well. But possibly still some lingering effects, still some pain in his hands. They've got the off day tomorrow. And I'd advise them to be careful. If there's some pain there, just take the day off or whatever it is. It's so important for him to heal and to hit properly, because the worst thing you can do is you're not feeling very good at all, and then you start hitting, then now you're starting to change your mechanics a little bit. Your body kind of tries to protect itself by swinging slightly differently, and all of a sudden you're mistiming balls and whatever. The other thing I would say is Verdugo. Very impressive. Very impressive. Not Verdugo, sorry, Grisham. Very impressive from Grisham today. Really, really good from Grisham today. Defensively, that's so important. Have defense. Alex in left, Grisham in center. So important. And that even when you're struggling with the bat, if you have defense, you can still contribute. And his speed, he makes some plays look a lot easier than they are with his speed, with his jump. He's got some accolades there in center field, and it shows. He's excellent in center field. Really, really, really good fielder. Very impressive from Grisham. That's very important. The Yankees need good defense, and Grisham provides that. Also 2 hits. What really impressed me was that at bat against Cabrera, where he drove in a couple of runs. Tough at bat. Cabrera comes in for the Blue Jays, 97 miles an hour. He's got the breaking ball, the cutter, which isn't great, to be honest. That if I was Cabrera, I'd go back to the drawing board a little bit with that. Maybe the numbers show differently, but I'm just visually, I'm not a real fan of that pitch. It doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't really get pressure off that fastball. To me, it doesn't seem like a great pitch, but such a good at bat by Grisham. The ability for him, he's seeing pitches. It's uncomfortable because he's facing that velocity, but he gets a lot of those cutters, and he's fouling them off. He's starting to time that pitch, and then he tries to maybe anticipate a little bit with that cutter, just to get the barrel. Maybe compensates that barrel, just gets that barrel down in the strike zone there. to be able to put good wood on that cutter down into the strike zone. Really, really good from Grisham. That's what needs to happen. You got to battle, and you've got to do your job. If Grisham can do his job and Grisham can just contribute a little bit, that makes the job of the top of the order so much easier. All of a sudden, Volpe, Soto, Judge, they're coming in with men on base, and it just lengthens that lineup so much. So good stuff here by some of the Yankees' lower order. Better at bats. That's what you like to see today. A lot of positive overall, and we're finally seeing today the pitching settle a little bit, and that's what it took was the offense scoring first, and then putting the Blue Jays in the back foot, right? Forcing the Blue Jays to play catch-up ball, and that really helped, I think. And we hope to see more consistency. With baseball, it's all about how long can you do something for. It's not about if you can do it. If you can do it, great. You've got this thing. You potentially have this skill in your arsenal, but can you do it over an extended period of time? Can you do it in different circumstances? That remains to be seen. So you hope the Yankees start to build off of this a little bit. No doubt, the bottom of the lineup is still quite thin. But I do think if Torres can help, if Torres can hit better, and he can potentially move into that 4 hole, that's going to really help drive in those runs. When Soto and Judge get on base, that's going to help drive in some more runs, right? If Rice can provide some offense, I think he can. If he can sort of start hitting over 700 OPS, more consistent at bats, good at bats, picking up those extra base hits, that's going to help lengthen that lineup so much. And then the bottom of the order can also contribute. That's going to really help. So it remains to be seen if the Yankees can play well until the All-Star break, and they've got a game against the Reds. That's going to be a big series before all those games against the AL East. It's going to be interesting, so let's stay tuned to see what the Yankees. So see what happens next. We've got Luis Gil back on the mound. Going to be anxious to see how he adjusts, if he can settle down a bit, if the Yankee pitching can continue with good pitching and continue and build some momentum there as well. But thank you for watching. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you watching the whole thing. We're trying to upload recaps and reactions to every game. May not do every game, but I'll try to. And if you've got thoughts and opinions, suggestions, please feel free to share those. And let's go Yankees.